I want to tell you something that took me a long time to admit. The silent moments in my English, the ones where I had something to say and didn't say it, those weren't neutral. Every single one of them cost me something. A connection I didn't make. A room I wasn't really in. And the frustrating part is that it had nothing to do with my English level.
That's the thing nobody tells you. The gap isn't grammar. It isn't vocabulary. It's the moment between having the thought and opening your mouth, and what happens in that gap is what this episode is about.
Welcome to English Speaksay. This is your B1 intermediate episode, and today we're going inside the specific mechanism that keeps capable people quiet. Not to make you feel better about it. To dismantle it.
By the end of this episode, you'll have a name for what's happening, a way to catch it the moment it starts, and one immediate action to take. Not a mindset shift. An action.
Because what we're building toward is that feeling, when you finally just go. When the words come out, and it works. That's what this is actually about.
All right, let's get into what's happening inside your head. Because it's more specific than you think, and when you see it clearly, it stops having power over you.
In 2021, I was in a meeting, maybe 6 people, and someone asked for feedback on a presentation. I had something to say. I'd actually prepared something that morning. And I sat there for 4 minutes, I counted later, running the same sentence through my head, adjusting one word, worrying about the grammar, scrapping the whole thing, starting over. And by the time I was ready, the conversation had completely moved on.
4 minutes.
4 minutes of silence. And whatever I was going to say, it wasn't a speech. It was one observation. One sentence. I didn't need more time. I needed to stop cycling.
That's the loop. That's your first Speaksay key. We call this the loop. It's not thinking. It's cycling. Same questions, different angle, same result. Nothing gets said.
And the cruel part is that the loop feels like preparation. It feels like you're getting closer.
You're not. You're just delaying. The loop has one job. It keeps you inside your head. And it's very good at that job.
So what does it actually feel like from the inside?
It sounds like, is this the right word? Then, what if the grammar's wrong? Then, what if they don't understand me? Then back to, is this the right word? 3 questions, infinite spins. The content doesn't change, only the anxiety does.
And the people caught in the loop are almost never the ones with nothing to say. They're the ones who think the most, who care the most about getting it right.
Which is exactly why the fix isn't about thinking less. Overthinking is not a thinking problem. It's a doing problem. The thought is already there. The language is close enough. What's missing is the move.
What's a moment when you've felt the loop start? In English or in any situation? Drop it in the comments. We read every one.
The loop runs on autopilot. It doesn't ask permission. It just starts, and it will keep running until something interrupts it.
So if the loop is the problem, what stops it? Because just be confident doesn't work. Don't overthink it doesn't work. Both of those describe the problem and call it advice.
Don't overthink it is like telling someone with a headache to stop having a headache. It describes. It doesn't solve.
So what actually does?
One word. Your second Speaksay key, we call this the confrontation. And the word is don't. Not believe in yourself. Not you've got this. Don't. A full stop, a hand going up, directed inward, at the loop, the moment it starts.
And this is completely different from positive thinking.
Completely different. Positive thinking says, replace the bad thought with a good one. The confrontation says, interrupt the cycle before it completes. You don't replace anything. You stop the spin. One move, internally, firmly, not a question, a command.
I want to stay with this for a moment because there's a cultural dimension here that most English learning content completely ignores. In many cultures, and I notice this especially with learners from East Asian, Latin American, and Middle Eastern backgrounds, taking your time before you speak isn't hesitation. It's respect. It signals that you're taking the question seriously.
That's real. And here's where the tension lives. In many British and North American professional settings, a long pause before responding doesn't read as thoughtfulness. It reads as uncertainty. The social signal gets lost in translation.
So for a lot of learners, the loop doesn't just feel natural, it feels correct. Interrupting it feels almost disrespectful, like you're cutting off your own care for the moment.
Right. And this is why the confrontation has to be understood as a tool, not a cultural override. There's a real difference between deliberate reflection, which has value, and cycling, which just runs. The confrontation doesn't end careful thinking. It ends the spin that was never going to arrive anywhere.
That distinction between reflection and cycling, has anyone felt that tension? That the loop felt like the right thing to be doing? Tell us where you're from and what it feels like for you. I'm genuinely curious about this one.
Don't is not about speed, it's about intention. The loop is automatic. The confrontation makes the next move yours again.
So we've named the loop. We have the confrontation. Now I want to make sure we land the practical side. Because say don't in your head is only half of it. Something has to come after.
That's the first move. Your third, Speaksay key. After the confrontation comes one immediate action, not the perfect action, the first one.
And what does that actually look like in English specifically?
3 levels. Match the move to the moment. Level 1, say the first word out loud. Not the sentence, the first word. I think, well, so. Just the first word. It breaks the silence, and the rest has somewhere to follow.
I love that because it removes the pressure of the whole sentence. You don't have to know where you're going, you just have to start moving.
Level 2, write the imperfect version. The sentence with the wrong word in it. The grammar you're not sure about. Write it first. Fix it after, not before.
This is genuinely hard for people who care about accuracy, and B1 learners almost always care about accuracy. But here's what I've noticed. Once the imperfect version is written, the correction is almost always obvious. The brain needs something to push against.
Exactly. Level 3, the 5-second rule. If the loop hasn't resolved in 5 seconds, the first move happens anyway. You go with what you have. The loop needs time. Take away the time, and it can't complete.
And what the first move isn't, it's not about quality. It's about momentum. Once the first word is out, the second arrives faster. Once the imperfect sentence exists, the better version becomes visible. Motion creates clarity.
For advanced speakers, there's another layer here. In high-stakes professional English, negotiations, presentations, written proposals, the loop can masquerade as due diligence. I'm being thorough, but thoroughness has a natural endpoint. Cycling doesn't. The distinction matters more the higher the stakes get.
What's your first move going to be this week? The first word, the imperfect sentence, or the 5-second rule? Write it in the comments.
3 keys. The loop, the confrontation, the first move. Each one connects to the next. None of them work in isolation.
Can I start with the one I still do? When the loop starts, my instinct is to buy time with language. I'll say that's a great question, or let me think about that for a second, and it sounds like I'm being thoughtful. But the loop is still running underneath. I just gave it better cover.
The loop went underground. That's mistake 1, and it's the most invisible one because it sounds like composure. The pause looks controlled. The cycling is still happening.
So the tell is whether the thinking inside the pause is actually moving forward or just spinning in different words.
Correct. If you're still asking, is this the right word on the fourth spin, the pause isn't helping. Mistake 2. Using the confrontation and then waiting to feel confident before taking the first move. That ordering is wrong. Confidence doesn't come before the move. It comes after.
We've been told the opposite our whole lives. Feel ready, then act. But for this, it's backwards.
Action first. Feeling follows. Always. Now, mistake 3. This is the one I find most interesting at B1 level, and it doesn't get talked about enough.
Go on.
Choosing a more complicated word when a simpler one would work. Because the simpler word doesn't feel like enough. The loop convinces you that detrimental is better than harmful. That nevertheless is more correct than but. So while you're searching for the sophisticated version,
The moment passes.
the moment passes. And here's what makes this mistake particularly damaging. It's invisible to the listener. They don't see the search. They just see the silence. And silence at the wrong moment reads as uncertainty regardless of what's happening inside.
I've done this in writing especially. I'll spend 4 minutes searching for the elevated version of a word, and the simple word was sitting right there the whole time, completely accurate, completely sufficient.
Simple words that get used land. Complicated words that never arrive don't exist in the conversation. The listener can only hear what you actually say.
There's something almost philosophical about that. You can't get credit for the sentence you didn't say.
That's exactly it. And the last thing, using the confrontation once and expecting it to be permanent. It isn't. The loop comes back. You use the confrontation again. It's a practice, not a cure. Catch it, confront it, move. Every time.
Let's make this real. 3 situations. For each one, choose your response, and I want you to actually think, not just confirm what you already believe.
One of these is harder than it looks.
Situation 1. You're in a meeting and someone asks for your opinion. You feel the loop starting. Option A, wait until you have a complete sentence. Option B, say I think, and let the sentence follow.
B. The first word breaks the silence. The sentence has somewhere to go.
Situation 2. You're writing an important email in English. You've deleted your opening line 3 times. Option A, keep rewriting until it feels right. Option B, send the version you have and let the reply tell you if anything was unclear.
B. But this one deserves a pause. Because there are moments where another pass genuinely improves the writing. The question is whether you're improving or cycling. If you've rewritten it 3 times and the new version isn't measurably better than the last, you're in the loop.
That's the real test, not how many times you've rewritten it. Whether the rewriting is actually producing something better.
Exactly.
Now, situation 3, and this one is genuinely ambiguous, so I want you to think about it. You're in a conversation, and someone says something you partially disagree with. Option A, stay quiet because you're not sure you can express the disagreement clearly enough in English. Option B, say something imperfect that expresses a partial disagreement, knowing it might come out awkward. And this is where real conversation over perfect silence actually gets tested. Not in the easy moments.
I'll be honest, there are real arguments for A here. If the relationship is sensitive, if the stakes of the misunderstanding are high, silence might protect something. But in most everyday professional or social situations, B. An awkward partial disagreement that's present is more useful than a perfect disagreement that never entered the conversation. Your Speaksay challenge. Think of one real situation this week where the loop started. Finish this sentence in English. The last time the loop started, I. Say it out loud, write it in the comments, or record yourself and listen back. All 3 count.
Time for the Speaksay Rewind, 7 words from today, chosen because they're the ones worth keeping.
Word 1. Cycle. A cycle is a process that repeats back to its own starting point. My thoughts went into a cycle I couldn't break. The meeting became a cycle of the same three concerns.
Word 2, autopilot. Autopilot means functioning automatically, without conscious control or decision. I responded on autopilot and said the wrong thing. When I'm nervous in English, my filler words go on autopilot.
Word 3, momentum. Momentum is the force that keeps movement going once it has started. Saying the first word gave me enough momentum to finish the sentence. Once I lost my momentum mid-presentation, recovering it took twice the effort.
Word 4, deliberate. Deliberate means done with full intention, not by accident or habit. She made a deliberate choice to speak before she felt ready. His pauses were deliberate, not nervous, but considered.
Word 5, interrupt. To interrupt is to stop something in the middle of its action, a conversation, a process, a cycle. I had to interrupt the loop before it completed another spin. She interrupted herself mid-sentence and restarted more clearly.
Word 6, instinct. An instinct is an automatic reaction that arrives before a decision is made. My instinct was to stay quiet and keep refining. You can override an instinct, but only if you notice it first.
Word 7, override. To override is to take control and stop an automatic process from completing. The confrontation is a way to override the loop. She learned to override the impulse to delete and start again.
7 words, cycle, autopilot, momentum, deliberate, interrupt, instinct, override.
If you want these words to stay with you, listen to this section again slowly.
Today was a big one. We went inside the thing that stops capable people before they begin, and we built a system to break it.
Your Speaksay keys from today: the loop, the confrontation, the first move.
If this episode helped you, subscribe and leave us a review. It's the best way to help us reach the people who need this most.
And your challenge this week: the next time the loop starts, and it will, name it out loud to yourself in English. That's the loop. Then use the confrontation. Then take the first move. All three in order. That's the whole practice.
Because the moment you stop waiting for the perfect sentence and start moving with the one you have, something shifts. Not because you thought your way out. Because the confrontation gave the first move back to you. And that's the only thing the loop was ever keeping from you.
See you next time.